Welcome back, everyone. This is Dave and Stacie from Corn Productions. We're doing a live react from Season 1, Episode 8, Broken Windows, Open Doors. I got that right?
I think so.
Okay, so how this works is we're going to watch this episode on mute, live react to it. You guys can watch along with us, or you can just watch us. It's entirely up to you. Stacie, you have anything to say?
Okay,
Before we get into this thing?
Shout outs, Bob Man's birthday this week.
That's right, along with your brother.
And my mother. I think they care a little bit more about Bob Man.
Yes.
That is the actor who played Frank.
Yes.
In Season 1 of From.
Who had an unfortunate demise.
Yeah. Frank in the box. When is this video going to launch?
Probably tomorrow, so it's gonna be airing on the 13th.
Okay, so when you're seeing this, yesterday,
yes,
a video we released with all new information about the filming of Season 3 of From. So make sure you go back and check that video out. It was released yesterday on the 12th.
Right. Yep. All right.
Or a half hour ago for us.
Right, basically. In the space-time continuum.
Yeah, right. And if you haven't watched the first 7 episodes we've done of this Rewatch with Us series, go back and watch those. But yeah, basically, like Dave said, we're going to all watch the episode and just kind of commentary, react on what's happening now that we know everything that's happened in Seasons 1 and 2. So there will be spoilers.
Yes, spoilers.
All the way through Season 2. Okay, so if you haven't watched all of Seasons 1 and 2, go do that before doing a rewatch with us, because we're not sticking to what's happening in this episode.
Yeah,
we just kind of go wherever our brains go. Mm-hmm. Especially when it's, talking about theories and things like that have come up within the Fromily fandom.
Yep.
Okay, so we have the episode loaded on our MGM Plus account. We already played the previously on section, and we are paused at the 1 minute and 59 second mark where it says MGM Presents on the screen. So go ahead and pause us, get your video ready if you're planning on watching along, and pause it at 1 minute 59 seconds when it says MGM Plus.
And we should begin our countdown.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
A little backwards.
And a second. Oh, did I do it wrong?
Usually it's 3, 2, 1 when you count down.
Okay.
That's okay. We there. All right. So we're starting with a bloody Boyd. So Kotri just died.
Yes.
Right? This is where we're at.
A lot of people just died.
A lot of people just died, but for him, that's Kotri's blood all over him. There's Kotri's blood all over the floor of the station. Kenny's coming in to see this.
That's not the worst thing Kenny has seen, that's for sure.
Yeah. Where was Kenny last night? At home, probably.
Yeah, probably. Yep.
I don't think he was even in any of that mess.
No, I don't think he was. And yeah.
Okay, so he's arranging where the Colony House residents are going to stay, since we have broken windows at Colony House, and everybody's kind of freaked out. 14 people died there. I think we'll learn that figure a little later in this episode. And, yeah, everybody's just going to stay in town while they fix up Colony House.
And I don't think Colony House is going to be functional for the rest of the season.
No, because they end up diverting their energy into Jim's project.
And who's the actor we're supposed to be looking out for again?
David Christoffel has an appearance in this episode. I believe he's the one that's complaining about people staying in his house.
Ah, yes.
David Christoffel also appears in the other series we do, which is Sullivan's Crossing. And he plays Maggie's lawyer. I did know his name.
David Christoffel?
The character.
The character's name.
Scott.
Scott
Meehan is the attorney that he plays on Sullivan's Crossing. He's actually in many episodes of that series. So he would be a great person to get as a guest on our podcast.
Yes, that'd be pretty awesome.
We can find contact information for him.
So I think Boyd is considering taking off on his trip, and he's going to leave Kenny in charge. And Kenny's not so convinced of that plan.
Yeah, Kenny's not really ready to step up right now.
And then Boyd goes and visits Sarah. I think this is his first meeting with her since she got back.
Right.
Yes.
Because Kotri just told him right before he died that she's here. Mm-hmm. And she's just like, where's Kotri? Why are you here?
Well, he's not in good shape.
Yeah, and so que sera, sera.
So, yep, we have our credits.
Yeah. Speaking of Sarah.
Oh, yep.
Avery Conrad got engaged about a week ago, so congratulations.
Yes, congrats to Avery Conrad. Making big moves in life. What was her fiance's name?
You're going to ask me when I don't have notes in front of me.
Sorry.
Celine Michael?
That sounds about right.
I might be off. That's what came to mind.
So, yeah, this is, as you mentioned, the flashback-heavy episode. It's the immediate aftermath of episode 7, where a lot of people died.
Yeah,
in
this is the
house.
episode where we meet Abby as a character.
Yep.
We've only heard about her until this point. Abby, played by Lisa Ryder.
Did you take that down as a note?
I have IMDb open.
Okay. That's cheating.
Well, I had it open already.
To look up lawyer's
David
name.
Christoffel.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I should know all these names, but there's a lot of names. And it's actually been a minute since we've we've done one of these.
It's been a while.
Yeah, we kind of are sneaking these in when we have time in our schedule between all of the series we're covering.
You know, it's interesting. We're very close to having covered all of From as a series. Until season 3 comes out, of course.
Right, but we still have a wait. It's going to be still almost a year.
I imagine that we can do 2 more of these things before the end of before we get to From season 3.
I mean, at this rate, we could just keep going and do season 2.
2 again, live react. See, when we do that, that'll be easier to talk about because I already know what happens in those episodes a little bit clearer than I do.
Right, because we covered them in greater detail. And if you're, for whatever reason, just finding us and you don't know our history with the show, we started with a kind of 1 episode, season 1 overview, and then we did episodically, scene by scene, each episode of season 2, which we will continue to do in season 3.
So we're coming back in the credits with the flashback, and we're meeting Abby for the first time. And they have that song, I Have a Boat.
If I Had a Boat. And so this is where we learn the importance of the song. And right before this, when we saw Bloody Boyd, he was holding that boat key, which we've seen him have throughout the season. And this is where we finally learn the significance of that. So he really wants a boat. Abby's telling him, we can't afford a boat, you're crazy. He just retired from the military. So they're driving, I forget where exactly they're driving from to where it was on, their missing poster.
Are they going to From?
Well, they are going to From.
Yeah.
But,
right now.
They don't know that yet. Okay, this is where he's talking about how his nickname is Mr. Fish and Loaves.
Yeah.
And so Ellis is in the back seat. He's just kind of the sultry teenager at this point.
Boyd looks very relaxed here.
Yeah, he's in a good mood. Like, he just retired. My mom's about to retire.
Is she?
Yeah.
That's right, I knew that.
My goodness. So he's ready to move on to the next stage of his life. They are hauling a U-Haul trailer. Well, it's not U-Haul. It is Rendezvous is what the U-Haul-esque brand is in this series. And he's hauling that. So I've always kind of assumed they're moving off of military housing.
Mm-hmm. I gotta say that Boyd is really rocking that blue shirt, collared shirt he's got going on there. It's a good look.
All right,
so
she hands him the boat key, and this is when he realizes that even though she's giving all of this pretense about how they can't afford a boat, she bought him a boat for his retirement, which he very sadly will never get a chance to see. Or will he?
You never know.
I've always had this theory that his boat's going to pop up in Fromville one day. We've got the
right in that.
We've got the idea that water is significant, right? We have the Brundles, which is just kind of a little lake. Oh, there's the tree.
And they are officially screwed.
Notably, a very different tree than the one the Matthews family came upon, facing the other direction. It's got a lot more nodules. So it's not like the tree's always the same. It's just always the same circumstance that there's a fallen tree. Back in present day, Boyd and Sarah.
Where are they going? They're not on their adventure yet.
He's taking her to that little shack in the woods.
Okay.
And he's going to tell her to stay there until he comes back. So he said, we got to talk, and he's about to tell her that Khatri's dead.
She still has her brother's blood on. Khatri couldn't give her,
some clothes.
Fresher clothes.
Well, the next clothes she puts on, she's going to keep on for a while.
Yeah, fair.
And he had just said that, before we found the talisman, the monsters screamed, but now they only whisper. And he revealed Khatri's dead. Colony House was attacked. Yeah, last episode was rough.
Brutal. And we're definitely taking a little bit of a breath with this episode.
She showed a moment of humanity. Her first question was, is Ellis okay? After she learned Colony House was attacked. Like, Sarah's not a bad person.
Right. She just kind of fell under bad influences.
She, decided to listen to these voices, but there's nothing malicious about anything she does.
Yeah, Boyd is not at a point where he trusts Sarah.
It's cold today, so I'm all bundled.
Yeah, that's why I'm wearing a sweatshirt. I have my Corn Productions t-shirt underneath, but, that's not doing us any good right now.
I'm wearing my Julie-inspired sweater.
Yeah.
It's a little bit reminiscent of the sweater Julie wears in Season 2, although hers is colorful hearts instead of black hearts.
So I zip down the coat and I become Corn Productions man. Anyway.
Alright, so Jade has...
He's looking awfully comfy.
Oh, is this,
No, I don't think any of these people are the Warriors.
So these are the ones moving into the Lou house, which Jade has a problem with. This is a great scene from him. And, what's her name?
Clara.
Before she became Eye Patch Girl.
Right.
She's like, aren't you the guy that thought this was a escape room?
Yeah.
And he's like, this is my house. Why are these people going to stay here? And
it's
not your house, Jade.
It's rather amazing that Clara is still alive because she has lines.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried if there's anything to be in on, I'm a little worried Clara's in on it.
Yeah, you think so?
If this was a horror movie, like a slasher, who's the killer, Clara would be in on it. Because she's, like, present so much, and everybody's so dismissive of her all the time. And if it was a slasher, she'd be the killer.
Okay, so Julie's back with the Matthews family. It hasn't been very long.
Yeah,
she's still freaked out.
It's the morning. She's telling them about the faraway tree and the root cellar and everything that happened to her. And, of course, the parents don't believe her at all. Ethan's going to believe her. He knows all about the trees.
Yeah. She's still wearing the dress from the party, notably. She's got, like, a sweater over it, but, yeah, that's definitely the dress.
Yeah, see, Ethan's the one, he's like, I know what you're talking about. It's faraway tree.
Right, because he already got introduced to that by Victor. Yeah, they have no idea where Victor is.
Right, where's Victor? And we're not going to see Victor until, like, the last second of the season. Right. And he knows. He's like, yeah, he went somewhere else, because they don't always take you to the same place.
Right.
And this is Julie's wake-up call. Until now, she's been at Colony House. She's been partying. She's been having an adventure. She's having her little crush on Fatima. She's been having a grand old time. Yeah, right?
This hasn't been.
She hasn't faced the situation that they're in, and now she is. When she realizes, like, things are weird here. This isn't natural. This isn't normal.
Not to mention a bunch of people.
What are these questions on the wall? What is going on?
Oh yeah,
she's losing it.
Jade, just comes storming into the house
in beautiful Jade fashion.
Right, that was completely sensitive, and yeah, wow. And Jade found a notebook. That's the one with the symbols in it.
Right, and the picture.
Journal.
And Jim's like, I don't care.
Right. My daughter almost just died. A bunch of people just died. People that they both know. And, from Jim's perspective, Jade is basically just kind of a lunatic.
He says, okay, you're doing the whole protective dad thing.
Right.
Yeah, the last time they interacted was when Jade freaked out and left Jim.
Right. Oh, and this is where Jade's going to learn that he's learning right here that they got the static. Which we question whether that even means anything.
Yeah, but it does to them, and they're the smart ones, so.
Mm-hmm. Certainly smarter than me.
So that's going to now take over their efforts for the rest of the season. is trying to get a radio signal.
This is a better partnership than the one we'll have with Randall, that's for sure.
Yes, I would agree with that. All right, back in the flashback. So they turned around after seeing the tree, and now they are in Fromville, and we're going to get our first glance at the town in this flashback. Save us is written on the barn.
How big do you think Boyd's boat was?
I don't know. So
Khatri.
Khatri stopped them because it's about to be dark, and there's no time for them to be going around in circles right now. And if they don't want to die, they need to come with him.
How many times do you think they've already done this at this point?
I got the impression this was their first time.
Oh, really?
Because they weren't, like, questioning the town. Abby pulls out a gun.
Yeah. That's not going to help, Abby.
Well, how would you feel if someone just stopped you in the car while you're driving through a town and was like, come with me or you're going to die?
I mean, it might work. It will definitely work against Khatri. It's just not going to work against the monsters. And yeah, totally. I would, think that this situation would be mildly threatening, to put it mildly.
Wearing, what's it called?
The priest outfit.
Yeah, there's a word for it.
Yeah, I don't quite.
The fact that he's, in uniform helps him a little bit, I'm sure. He looks a little bit less like a crazy man.
But, everything else about him right now, he looks and acts like a crazy person.
So, the sheriff's station / post office is all boarded up at this point. Nobody's using any of the buildings, right? So they're hiding underground. Here we go. Donna's there. Cliff is, what's his name
Dale.
in the show? Dale's there.
This week I actually was able to remember that.
So it's Donna, Dale, Khatri, and the Matthews family. Not the Matthews family. The Stevens family.
Is this it at this point?
That's all who's in this hole. I think what they're saying is they split up on different holes.
So it's basically
around
like
town.
cells.
Yeah, they have all these different little bunkers that they split up into. And, every night some of them get found, basically.
Yeah, so this was before Boyd finds the talismans, which we are eventually going to find in this episode in one of the later flashbacks. And there's poor old Ellis.
Yeah, so his arm's broken from jumping out the window.
And next season he's going to get stabbed.
Yeah, he has a rough time of it.
What do you think? Season 3 is going to get shot?
I said it today.
You did. Maybe you jinxed him.
So Christy's patching him all up. There's a lot of people here injured or just staying here because they don't know where else to go.
Right. And here comes Kenny.
Kenny's here to help.
Flirt. One or the other. Both.
Same thing.
Yeah, basically.
And we're going to pass that book back. The book, which has a lighthouse on the cover, by the way. I don't know if we get a shot of it now.
What's the title of this book?
I don't remember. It's a real book. But it's got a lighthouse on the cover.
Aw, and she just kissed him on the cheek.
Yeah, she said she doesn't think she's going to get to... Or no, that was the last time we saw the book. She didn't think she was going to get to reading. It's a miracle they have time to read it all.
Yeah.
All right, so...
Oh, okay. So, yeah, they're going... Jim and...
Donna's picking up body parts. There's somebody's leg.
Pleasant job, but somebody's got to do it, I suppose.
She's picking up all the stray body parts.
Yeah, so they're going to visit Donna so that they can put the antenna on the roof to see if that'll help. And, everything we've seen of this character, you think there's no way she's going to agree to this, but she's very... amendable and just
Right, because she's got other stuff on her mind right now.
Yeah.
She's basically like, I don't care what you do. Mm-hmm. She's kind of given up on Colony House in this moment. She doesn't think anybody's ever going to want to come back here again. Which I kind of surprised they do actually end up coming back to this living dynamic.
I mean, they don't have a whole lot of choices.
So they're explaining to her about high ground and the radio. So there's some more body parts just hanging out in the background that she hasn't gotten to yet. There's almost a whole corpse over there. So this is the highest point on the highest hill. They're going to build a tower on the roof to try and get a signal over the trees. And they're surprised that she said yes.
I was surprised as well when I was originally watching this scene.
And this is where we learn 14 people died here last night. It's never been specifically explained if that includes Khatri or if he's number 15 who died that night.
I took it to mean that 14 people specifically died at Colony House. I don't think they were counting Khatri. But then again, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Either way, they're never going to tell us who died.
Right.
Some of those background people died.
Mm-hmm. And Sarah's being led to the
little shack in the woods. Now, this is where he offered Frank to be exiled to. Remember, he was going to give Frank a talisman and say, stay here and just try and have a life for yourself as an alternative to going into the boxes, which is an offer, of course, that Frank passed up.
Yes.
So we're at the shack, and he's like, you stay here, and then I'll be back, and then I'm going to use you. And she's not liking this idea.
Is this... No, they don't... Ellis and Boyd don't reconcile in this episode. It's the one after this, right?
I think so, yeah.
Because they don't leave during this episode.
Right, she just stays here until next episode, I think.
And she convinces Boyd not to put the handcuffs on her.
Alright, so back in the past, we're learning about the bunkers.
So, the monsters clearly got some people.
Yeah, there's actually 5 or 6 bodies. And this is what they do every night. See, there's all different bunkers. Mm-hmm. And it's a game of hide and go seek with the monsters every night.
I could think of funner games.
Yeah. It's pretty
gruesome.
Pretty horrible. And look at how the sheriff's station's just boarded up. The houses are boarded up. Here's what I want to know. Why didn't they leave the windows boarded up?
Right. I'm kind of...
Protecting ourselves from the monsters is more important than getting natural light. Alright, so they believe right off the bat because, look at that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty convincing. So, how far in the past is this?
This, I think, is about 2 years ago.
Okay. And
Donna's been there a year already, because she's been there about 3 years.
So, more people are probably going to come, right? Because I think Kenny comes after this.
Yeah, Kenny's been there less than a year. So, Kenny's not there yet. Fatima's not there yet. She's been there a year. I think they're the only people... Them plus Dale are the only people that we know, main characters, that were already there at this point.
Gotcha. So, Boyd is pretty unimpressed with what they have going on here. He thinks that they can do this better, basically.
Yeah, so they're hanging out in the diner, which is not in use. They're not... what are these people eating at this point? Donna's been here a year.
Raw goats?
They haven't found any animals yet. I mean, I guess there's probably, plant life they can eat, but they're not harvesting food, they're not cooking, they're not doing any of that stuff. They are staying up all night in these holes praying they don't get caught, and then they're spending their days just catching up on the night, probably sleeping during the day.
Here's a thought. You could, the ones that don't make it, there's still some left of them.
Oh, God. You did not just say that. Hey, Will. Steve's sitting on you.
There's also Peaches. We know that.
Victor has Peaches. And we don't know where Victor is during any of this, by the way. Victor, of course, is already here, but we don't see him in these flashbacks. So we don't know. Is he socializing with these people at all? Is he completely staying away from them? Do they even know him?
Right.
We don't know where Victor fits into this time frame here. So part of Boyd's new plan is this is when he had everybody gather supplies. He put Donna in charge of organizing the supplies, everything they can find, and they're going to kind of ration them out to people who need stuff.
Basically, this functions as a Boyd origin story.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Julie's learning about her mom's hole in the basement.
Yeah, that would be her mother's pet project.
Yeah, this is her thing. Best thing you could do right now is fill that hole back in, guys.
Yeah.
I wish you would.
Yeah, but they don't know what's coming.
No. Tom wishes you would.
Mm-hmm. You guys killed Tom. Indirectly, of course.
Julie asks about the divorce. And this is where Tabitha's going to let Julie in on the root of their problems. The problems between Tabitha and Jim.
I mean, it's not like they could get divorced here. I mean, they're pretty much stuck here.
Yeah, but they could separate here.
Yeah, I guess.
They could live in separate households and just not be together.
Mm-hmm. But it's not like they can officially get divorced.
Right.
I mean, their only priest is dead now.
Although, Fatima and Ellis get married, so...
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
They can do whatever they want.
Yeah. They say, yeah, we're not married anymore.
Right. And see, yeah, Julie's still blaming, herself at this point, that's something we just talked about recently in one of our podcasts. I don't remember what.
Extended family? Did we talk about that in extended family?
Probably.
It's the only thing I can think of that relates to a divorce.
We talked about it in Sullivan's Crossing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense, too.
How, often the kids blame themselves and think it's their fault.
Yeah.
Even, grown, mature kids like Julie.
It's not rational, but when it comes to emotional stuff like that, rationality rarely applies.
So she explained the story about how Thomas died. And Julie's never heard any of this story before. Because Tabitha blames herself. And she blames Jim.
What exactly did she tell the kids about how Thomas died?
I'm not sure. But they did not get all these details.
Right.
So Julie and Ethan were in the next room. The parents were had Thomas, who was on the changing table.
And he went a splat.
And the phone rings. Which, is part of Tabitha's dream. Did we already see that?
I'm not sure. I don't think we did. I don't think we have yet.
Tabitha's dream, where she sees all of those numbers in the lighthouse tower. She hears the phone ringing. And this is the phone call that's referring to. This phone call that she said haunts her. Because the phone rang and they were distracted, and I missed it because we're just trying to watch subtitles. But
right, yeah.
One of them went and answered the phone, and the other one turned, and the baby fell.
Yeah, so,
he rolled right off the table.
Future reference, don't leave your baby just, laying there on a table.
Even for a second. And so, yeah, this is a real moment of bonding for them. Where she's kind of trusting Julie with, more grown-up emotions here.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of repairing their relationship, which was broken.
Right. And from now on out, Julie's going to stay with them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not for too long in this house, but
right,
wherever they end up.
She will still be a bad babysitter.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, is that the lawyer guy?
Yes, that's David Christoffel.
He's looking a little rough
The name of
here.
his character here is Eli. This is the only episode he had a credit in, but I'm sure we've seen him in the background, I would imagine, in other episodes.
Hey, there's Reed Price.
Yeah, okay, so I forgot this, that Tom is upset about having people stay with him.
No, we're going to have to ask him about that.
And, of course, Eli is upset. And, they don't want the colony house. Because remember, up until now, colony house and town have been 100% completely separate.
Right.
And now colony house people are staying in the houses, supplies. And that's something I never really understood. Like, food's short, supplies are short. Why can't they take the food and supplies from colony house? I understand why they're not sleeping there right now. But why can't you get your stuff? I mean, the people who aren't freaked out to go inside, go get the food.
The expression on Mrs. Wu's face, she looked like she was going to take that broom and start beating people with it. And we're back in the past. Khatri and Boyd.
And he's learning more about how the monsters work. And basically what we get is that before Boyd got here, nobody really asked any questions. Nobody really tried to figure anything out. Nobody tried to make a life for themselves here, right? It was literally just survive day after day after day. That was your only goal, was survive. And now, Boyd's figuring out a way to do more than survive, to actually, have some sort of a life.
So this is 2 years ago. When did Donna get here?
3 years ago. So she's been here for a year already.
Okay.
And we don't know how long Khatri's been there. Or any of these people.
I don't think we see most of them again.
Yeah. I mean, the idea is, most people don't make it very long. Right? The people who we know that have been there a long time are the exceptions. Especially back then.
Abby's talking about a dream that she had at one point.
Yeah, a dream she had when she was a little girl, and she's remembering that. And this is where she's wearing a beautiful pearl necklace. This is where one theory I had comes in, that she's been here before. And maybe she thinks it's a dream, but maybe it really happened. Maybe she was here before. And I even had the theory that possibly she's Eloise.
Right. Victor's sister.
Which I think is totally possible. If Eloise got out, if the lighthouse really leads out and she got out, she could have become Abby.
So Boyd is making the decision at this point to basically stay. But Kenny is going to convince him otherwise. That he has to go on this adventure. Because things aren't going to settle down. And then he's going to give Donna a back check at the same time, saying, hey, you have to be the scary badass you've always been. And this is Kenny stepping it up, I think, for the first time. Which he'll kind of continue to do. I mean, we're critical of his season 2 episode 1 performance. We didn't think he was very good in either of those first 2 episodes, but
he's trying,
yeah. I mean, as the season goes along, he definitely grows up.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we know he's been here just under a year. It's unclear. We eventually get a flashback for him. I think that was during season 2.
Yes.
When we find out, when he joined Boyd to become the deputy, and it was when his dad went to live at the clinic. We don't know exactly how long ago that was, but I don't think it was that long ago. I think he's fairly new at, being part of the controlling powers here.
I love the look on Donna's face as Kenny's going after her as well. Like, whoa, I didn't even know you had this in you. Why is Donna even here?
I think they were just talking about the colony house residents and getting everybody settled and how it's going to work. Where's Donna staying tonight? Maybe she's staying here with Boyd. Maybe that's why she's here.
She specifically said, I didn't know he had it in him. Yeah, and that was the first hint that she got that Boyd was going to leave.
Right.
So now he has to explain that
And this
story.
right here is the moment where
their whole relationship changes.
Everything changed. Oh, there's our go to Hawaii sign. This is in the flashback. Boyd just found the goat.
It's a pretty goat, too.
And, of course, this is one of Victor's drawings. So he's watching all of this from somewhere.
I have somewhat a theory about that, except I'm not sure how it works.
There's a fire hydrant right there. I don't think I ever noticed that before. So yeah, he's like, we're gonna go fix up the barn. He saw chickens out there too. Kashi's like, what do you want me to do with this goat? It's very funny. And Ellis is trying to convince his dad that Abby needs some attention. He's worried about her.
Yeah, he's starting to mentally decline.
He said that Boyd's been going out for weeks now, all day, every day, scouting the woods, and it's helpful, right? He's just found a goat, but Ellis is like, maybe you need to take a break from that and spend some time with Mom. Send somebody else out. And Boyd's like, well, look, we're making progress, and he's right. They're making progress, but he's missing the fact that Abby's not okay.
The irony is, he helps these people live. But at the same time, he doesn't do that himself. Mm-hmm. He's just so wrapped up in, everything he's trying to do here that he doesn't pay attention to the things that he needs to be paying attention to. His own life.
Yeah, he's not worried about Abby because, she's very strong. But Alice is telling you, like, I've been seeing things. Maybe, you should pay attention to what your kid has to say.
Unfortunately, he doesn't.
So he has 4 hours left before it gets dark. And he says, when we get home tonight, we'll talk. Of course, this is the night he doesn't come home.
Right. And that conversation never has a chance to happen.
And Abby assumes that he didn't make it, which is why he's not home. Because nobody's ever not come home. Uh-huh. If you don't come home, they got you. Right.
And of course, if her mental health was teetering on the brink, that pushes her over the edge. Mm-hmm. I think this is the first time he encounters the dog.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, chronologically, I think this is his first dog encounter. Good old Gus.
And he's carving like something in a tree so he can mark his path.
He's like making arrows to keep track of his path. And they said he's been doing this every day for a couple of weeks, so he's gone probably every which way, right? But only as far as enough time as he can go and come back before it gets dark. He wants to know about the dog, like, who are you here with? The dog has a collar on, and this is where I want to know. Did you read this dog's collar? Does it say Gus? Or was Gus something that the people doing the captions made up?
The dog takes off and Boyd chases after him. Not a smart idea.
It's never steered him wrong.
That's fair. Yeah. But, so,
in my opinion, the dog is helping him find the talisman on purpose now.
Okay, that's what I was just about to ask.
Yeah. So he's following the dog and gets lost because, remember, he was putting the marks in the trees, and now he doesn't know where his last mark was. He's running out of time.
How about just run back in the general direction of where you were running from?
He doesn't. He got turned around. He doesn't have a clue which way he just came from.
I mean, I wouldn't fare any better at this point, but.
And he spends the next until it gets dark trying to find his way. Has no idea if he's even going in the right direction or not. And he comes upon the little cave, I think. The monsters are out.
Yeah, he's being a little skittish. He's hearing noises. He's, got his gun out. Not that that's going to help him any, but...
Right. I don't know if he even knows that for sure yet.
Probably not.
And he kind of falls into the cave behind some vines.
There's a couple of interesting things here. This room that he falls into, it has the talismans. Yeah, we see the monsters coming up on him, and they just kind of abandon him because the talismans are there.
Right.
But there's no door, no window.
Right, just the vines.
So it really doesn't seem to matter if it's an enclosed place or not.
It's one of those things that can be discussed over and over and back and forth and around in circles. I've always described this scene as the Minecraft scene. If you've ever played Minecraft, this reminds me so much of your first night in Minecraft. You kind of dig a hole, you sit in there, and you just watch the monsters through a little hole and hope they don't get you. If you haven't managed to gather the resources you need to go to sleep yet.
Right. So, there's a theory that the talismans work because of belief.
Right.
You believe they work, and so they work. Boyd at this point doesn't even know anything about these talismans.
Right.
Until now.
So he pulls them out of all these little kind of cubby holes.
Yeah.
They fit perfectly in this cave. They were built for this cave, and I kind of think they were built from this specific rock that this cave is made out of.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious if they come back here. Could they make more talismans from these rocks?
I think these rocks is what the talisman were made of, and they're all here. We really, at some point, need a flashback to who put these talisman here and what their origin is.
I kind of think it was Victor.
Could have been. And right, how did they work? Is it just because there's so many of them? We know it's not, because in season 2, or no, that's this season, next episode, I think.
Yeah.
Him and Sarah sleep there with just one talisman.
Mm-hmm. And Boyd knows he's taken out soon. He has no idea if he's gonna survive this, so he goes and tries to make up with his son.
Yeah, he's telling him he's leaving. Basically, he's going off. This is his first time going off like this since that night, right? Since whatever happened with Abby, which at this point, your first time watching this, you still don't know what happened with Abby. We're going to learn that very soon here. He's saying goodbye to his son. Because he knows there's a very good chance he's going to die out there. Mm-hmm. Like, he's going to take a tent. He has no idea if a talisman's going to work in a tent. It's just fabric.
So, yeah, he says, you can hate me. That's fine. But I'm going to say what I'm going to say anyway. Mm-hmm. And, Ellis is just kind of sitting there sullenly through this.
So he says, if I don't make it back, because there's a good chance he won't, Yeah,
he's giving Ellis an opportunity to say something.
Who knows what he'll find out there?
Right.
He might run into the others.
Right. Yeah, maybe. In that case, he'll take off in his new boat.
Yeah. He needs his boat back. And so it's been about 2 years, right, since then, we said. So their relationship's been very strained for a very long time.
Oh, yeah, so we haven't seen that Donna-Boyd reconciliation scene yet. Is that this episode or the next one?
I'm not sure which scene specifically you're referring to.
The one where they, hug it out just before he was about to take off.
I don't know. This is, where it's just going to end, and we're going to be like, oh, that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, wait, I thought there was more. But, yeah. Yeah, so Boyd goes, oh, okay.
Is this the scene?
Yeah. Yeah, basically, they end up...
What's that building?
I don't know.
So this is the original school set. So this is an actual school that they filmed this at for season 1, and then they rebuilt it for season 2. I don't think we ever see a building right next door to it again.
So yeah, before Donna and Boyd were at odds, here they're basically reconciling, and this is going to change their relationship for season 2. Yeah. It's very different in season 2.
It's very different. The entire,
dynamic.
The entire dynamic of everybody and the whole way this town works completely changes from here on out. Even once they get Colony House, back up and running and people sleep there, they're no longer two totally separate entities. They run things by each other. They work together.
Yeah, and their interactions in season 2 are gold. Yeah. 100%. Every time you see him, it's gold.
And Fatima tells Ellis that he really should talk to his dad.
Yeah. Basically says that what happened with Abby was not his dad's fault. That's kind of debatable.
It wasn't his dad's fault.
I mean, like...
His dad did what he had to do to save Ellis's life.
That's not specifically what I'm referring to. Maybe if he had paid a little bit more attention,
sure.
he could have prevented that from happening. I mean, like, once we were there, he had no choice.
Right. But, I mean, it wasn't his fault that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
she decided to start killing everybody.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sure, he should have been there and he should have been paying attention, but he couldn't have known that was about to happen.
Right.
Yeah, he should have known everything wasn't okay, but it's no more his fault than it is Ellis's fault. Ellis was there.
Yeah. I mean, Ellis tried to get his dad to intervene there.
But, I mean...
Who knows? It's not like they could put her on, like, psychiatric drugs or anything. Like, there's no psychologist here. But, I don't know.
Okay, so her big flipping point was the fact that he didn't come home that night.
Right.
And it's not like... He didn't mean to stay out all night.
Right.
He wasn't like, screw you, I'll come home tomorrow and talk.
It's not like Frank who decided to get drunk and stay at Tom's bar.
Exactly. Right? He stayed out because he got lost and couldn't find his way home in the dark. Although he finds his way now. Here's gunshots. The whole town is scattering. Abby is just shooting everybody that walks by. He's like, what's happening? What are you doing right now? And there's at least 3 people she's put down. I don't know if we ever got a count of how many people she killed. There's 4.
Certainly enough.
At least 4 now. There's Donna.
Who is that person to Donna?
Oh, I don't know. I think Donna's just trying to help.
Right. So yeah, she's convinced it's not real. It's a nightmare. That if she just shoots everybody, they're going to wake up.
Right. You can't die in your dream, so if I shoot you, you're going to go home. Which is still a possibility.
Yeah.
That's real.
It's quite possible that she is right.
And she's like, well, if you're here, it's definitely not real because you didn't come home last night.
So yeah,
he's trying to talk her down, but it's already too late.
Yeah.
Now, what he really should have done was just kind of come and tackle her and take the gun out of her hand.
Mm-hmm.
But he's trying to talk her down. And she starts singing If I Had a Boat. And he thinks he's getting through to her, but... Yeah, Ellis comes and...
He just straight up shoots her down.
Yeah, because she would have shot him. She was shooting everybody.
Yeah.
In that second, what else could he have done?
No, I once we were there was nothing he could have done. He did what he had to do. And maybe he would have been able to, help her psychologically if he had, paid a little bit more attention there. Who knows?
Maybe he could have,
but
just
then
shot her, the hand that was holding the gun.
Yeah, I mean, there's... But he didn't have that much time to react.
No.
Like...
And, what Ellis doesn't consider is what this has done for him,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ellis is pissed off that he killed his mom. Well, he killed his wife.
Right.
It's just as hard for him. Probably harder, knowing that he had to do that.
So, yeah. Boyd is going to go see Sarah, and then Ellis takes this opportunity to talk to his father.
Right.
And this is where they reconcile. And the entire scene, I'm dreading Sarah coming out and blowing this. And I really thought that when she came out that was going to be, like, the end of the reconciliation.
Right. Because as far as everybody besides Boyd knows, Sarah's dead.
Right.
Isn't he the only one who knows at this point?
Basically, yeah. The only other person who knew was Katri, and he's gone.
And so he's thanking his dad for finding the talisman. You're
that's
a little late.
that's the other thing is, like, basically, if Boyd is not out that night, he doesn't find the talismans, which is huge for this town and the people in it.
And so he's basically saying...
And he's basically saying what I said. You
Right.
bring the talismans home, life would be very different.
He's saying, I forgive you.
Mm-hmm.
I see, I know why you were gone. I understand the value of what you did during those times that you were out seeking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe he's saying, I understand why you have to go now.
Right. And they hug it out. They're crying. Really good scene between these two. And here's where Sarah comes out.
Yeah. And she's like, hey, guys, what's going on? Sarah's really good at...
Picking the worst times
Yeah,
to appear.
at being, like, very innocently destructive.
So, yeah, Ellis doesn't react well to this at first, but he eventually trusts his dad. And he's not going to tell anybody, and that's going to be a sticking point between Ellis and Fatima in season 2. Though, I don't really think that was her real issue. I mean, I think she was pissed about that, but she was, I think, mad about something else at that point.
I don't remember. Communication is an issue for
Yeah.
everybody in this series.
Mm-hmm.
So he basically says, just go and I'll explain everything when I get back.
And they say, I love you to each other, and that's an officially repaired relationship. At this point, I'm assuming one of these two is going to be dead. But that doesn't quite work out like that.
Yeah, at least not yet. Although we're left at the end of season 2.
Right, yeah.
Alright, so here's Kenny stepping it up, addressing all of the people. We've got the townspeople and the colony house people all together as one community, explaining that the sheriff's leaving. Donna's standing with him in solidarity so that the colony house people listen. There's that woman who we said is pregnant, and she still looks pregnant to me.
I don't recognize a lot of these people.
They're the extras. But you see the woman, I don't know if they're going to show her again. She's wearing a long flower dress. She's the one, when getting off of the bus, I said she looked very pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And people were saying, no, it was just the camera angle. She still looks pregnant to me in this scene. Do you see her?
Yeah, okay.
I mean, maybe
Could
not.
be the angle.
But that's the one who's getting off the bus.
Maybe she's just...
Actually, the one next to her, I think people said, too.
I don't see that. And Jim is explaining his plan, what he's going to do.
So Kenny and Donna were basically like, okay, so we could either get Colony House up and running, or we can do this. And so they're going to do this. They're all doing whatever Jim and Jade need. We're hearing that if I had a boat again. Ellis comes to tell Fatima about how he said goodbye to his dad. Doesn't mention Sarah. That orange truck in the background's reminding me of the rescue vehicles from Sullivan's Crossing.
One of the 2 vehicles that they have in town.
Maybe that's why they keep losing them to From. It's right down the street.
I mean, that's possible.
They need to go search and rescue to From is what they need to do.
They could definitely use the help. But then again, so could that area, that Sullivan's Crossing area.
It's the same area. They're right down the street.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Every time we get an overview of the woods in Sullivan's Crossing, I'm like, okay, where's From? It's there somewhere. All right, so they're about to head out on their journey. Again, we're still hearing the song, which we first heard this song a couple episodes ago when he asked for a sign. He asked Abby at her grave for a sign, and at the end of that episode, this is the song that came on the jukebox, which to him was the sign that, yes, he should go.
And that is where the episode ends. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so that was a very flashback-heavy episode.
Yeah, this was filling in the story of when Boyd and his family arrived, filling in what happened with Abby that we were alluding to all season. We got to see Kotri again after he died for the first of many times. Actual Kotri here, as opposed to whatever he is
Ghost
later.
Kotri, or who knows.
we got repairing the relationships, between Ellis and Boyd, finding out why their relationship was strained in the first place, changing the dynamics with Boyd and Donna, Kenny stepping up as a leader of the town.
Yep.
And the start of Jim's radio tower project.
The misadventure.
As well as Julie reconciling with her family.
So yeah, a lot of stuff happened. A lot
of emotional healing and explanations of how we got where we are.
So yeah, I mean, if this were like this season, it'd be like, oh, that was boring. Nothing happened.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, like, yeah. So a lot of stuff happened. The next 2 episodes are basically in the woods.
Yeah.
Their little adventure. And yeah, based on this episode description that we got going on here, that's the one where Donna like basically flips out, and there's that great scene in the bar where I think Kenny and Donna end up talking. But yeah, do we have anything else to say about this episode?
I think it's a really important episode, and I really hope that going forward we get to see more flashbacks. And like filling in some of the gaps.
Right.
There's still so many questions, obviously, about what's going on, but specifically, we need to know more about the talisman, where they came from, how they were. It'd be maybe fun to watch them testing them out. Yeah. Because that had to have been a heck of a experience.
Whoops, it didn't work. People died.
Learning how they worked, because they know a lot about them at this point. So you imagine there's been a lot of trial and error to get all of those rules under their belt of they can still come in if you open a window, but it'll keep them out as long as you don't open the door or invite them in. Right. Like a lot of stuff that in order to know that means that you tried it the other way.
Yeah, my theory about where Boyd ended up in that tree was that at one point that was a hideout for Victor. And maybe there's actually more. So maybe there's other trees with talismans in them, and that's where Victor used to hide.
It's a cave. It's not a tree.
Right, the cave.
It's rock, definitely.
Right. So maybe there's more of those kind of caves around.
Maybe there's lots more talisman. We could use more talisman. We could use, every person needs their own talisman. Because, 1 for 30 people in Colony House is not sufficient in my eyes. Every door needs a talisman. Every person needs a talisman.
I mean, Victor had to survive by himself for quite a while, so where was he? How did he do it?
Yeah, where was he during this scene? Was he in that truck the whole time?
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe he was hiding out in the woods.
Yeah.
Like in maybe more other caves, or who knows?
Right.
Maybe he was chilling out with the boy in white somewhere.
Well, we got the impression that he stopped seeing him as soon as he started growing up. But yeah, there's a lot left to explore. I mean, there's we could spend another 100 hours filling in everything we want to know about what's going on here. We're not going to get that.
No.
We're only going to get a maximum of 30 more episodes. If they finish the story, they want 5 seasons. We have a guaranteed 10 more, season 3.
Right.
And if they get to tell their story, we have 30 more episodes.
Sweet deal.
And that's not a lot when you look at all the nuances of everything that's already happened and think about where they could possibly be going.
So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of questions that are never going to be answered.
Right.
But hopefully the big stuff is answered.
Yeah.
Kind of like Lost. Like, there's plenty of stuff in Lost that was never quite answered.
Right, and Lost also had over 100 episodes to tell their story.
Exactly. But at the same time, the big questions were answered. And they were... And unlike what a lot of people think, because I watched the series while watching From, finally, it was a satisfactory... conclusion, and so on and so forth.
These puzzle box shows, they require the viewer to use a lot of critical thinking, to connect a lot of dots.
Right.
To take something from episode 2 and episode 26 and make a connection in your head that they're not going to handhold you through.
Right.
They're not going to be like, hey, remember that thing that happened way back when? Look, this is that. I mean, they might, but in most cases, you're going to have to connect this stuff yourself.
Right.
It's going to be up to the viewer to remember things and to rewatch and to find new details. And, I think a lot of people who had problems with Lost didn't do that. They didn't like rewatch it, they didn't pick up on the details, they didn't connect things. They're like, we never learned what this was. You did. You learned exactly what that was, but you had to connect dots from this episode, that episode, this episode, that episode, this story, this post online.
Right.
And the answers were all there. They weren't just thrown in your face, though, a lot of the times.
Well, I just wait till episodes air and then let you explain it to me.
I mean, in this series, one good example already is a question some people ask, where'd the peaches come from?
Right.
We know exactly where the peaches came from.
Mm-hmm.
The peach truck.
Right.
Victor's truck that we see in the beginning of season 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Clancy's canned good truck, and that's the name that's on the peaches.
Right.
This was a truck full of canned peaches out for deliveries. They got stuck in Fromville at some point. That's where all of Victor's peaches came from.
Right.
So it was explained, but they never said any of those words out loud. It was just there.
So who threw the rope to Boyd? And I still see posts like that. And I'm like, ugh, we're still on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, anyway. We don't have a definitive answer for exactly what happened there.
And we're never going to.
We might learn for sure, was Martin real, or was Martin an entity, or was Martin a vision?
Right.
So if we learn something more concrete about Martin, it might explain the rope.
Right.
But as it stands, it happened. Mm-hmm. And that's all we know for now.
Right. And I'm ready to move on from that. I was ready to move on from that a long time ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, so do we have anything else to say?
No.
All right, Stacie, we reached out.
You can reach out on Twitter, X, Instagram, and Threads at TVN Coupon Talk.
And if you like this video and want to support the channel, there are a number of ways to do so. You can follow me on Twitter at Core Productions. You can join one of my Core Productions Facebook pages. You can buy something from the Core Productions store on Zazzle. You can buy me a copy, which is a new way to support content creators such as ourselves. And of course, you can like, share, and comment on this video, as well as subscribing to our channel. This is Dave and Stacie from Core Productions, signing off.